Welcome back to my channel. I am Azrie'l. I am a mother. I am an artist. I like to call myself a transparent healer as I share my experiences throughout my life thus far with vulnerability, honesty, and accountability. So, today's video is about soul retrieval, and also we're going to talk a little about healing after the soul retrieval, also moving away from healing when it's time to start actually living your life. I would encourage anybody who is experiencing very highs to very lows, like back and forth. Anybody who experiences depression, anybody who may feel like they are not always here presently, like you feel, not in your body, not within home, I would encourage you to get this book. Okay, like the main reasons to solos. So I've been learning Spanish, so like some of my words keep meshing together. So lost book. It had me emotional, crying throughout this book. Like, oh my gosh, yes, girl, I feel the same way. This is definitely me. Oh my fucking goodness, I need to find a shamanic practitioner to give me a soul retrieval. Let's just get into it. Goddamn, we 2 minutes in. So basically, I'm going to read you some of the book. This is just the introduction part. Soul loss is a spiritual illness that causes emotional and physical disease. Who takes care of our spirit when it gets sick? We have doctors for the body, for the mind, and for the heart, but what do we do when our spirit is ailing? This book speaks to the issue of spirit and the healing of spiritual matters. Soul loss is basically when a person goes through something traumatic. It doesn't have to be very traumatic. It can be something like very minor, especially for children. Pieces of our soul retreats away from our body because of like the fear. And so depending on, each individual's experiences within life, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have experienced soul loss. These are checklists of symptoms if you think you may be experiencing soul loss. Do you ever have a difficult time staying present in your body? Do you sometimes feel as if you're outside your body observing it as you would a movie? Do you ever feel numb, apathetic, or deadened? Do you suffer from chronic depression? Do you have problems with your immune system and having trouble resisting illness? Were you chronically ill as a child? Do you have gaps in your memory of your life after age of 5? Do you sense that you may have blacked out significant traumas in your life? Do you struggle with addictions to, for example, alcohol, drugs, food, or gambling? Do you find yourself looking to external things to fill up internal void or emptiness? Have you had difficulty moving on with your life after a divorce or a death of a loved one? Do you suffer from multiple personality syndrome? And so these questions are in the very beginning of the book to help pinpoint if obviously someone has experienced soul loss. And so when you answer like yes to a good portion of these questions, then obviously soul loss. I resonated with the chronic depression. I resonated with the numbing. I resonated with the difficult time staying present, especially the gaps in my memory as a child. Like I still, excuse me, I still don't remember good portions of my childhood, and it might say that way unless I go and get a reading for that. I got into soul retrieval like, years later on down the line. I got tired of like not feeling present. I got tired of going through these really dark, dark times. Even though I eventually learned how to pull myself out, but I got fed up with experiencing depression in a whole different sense. And so I think I was like either listening to a YouTube video or reading another book by Sandra, and then I ran into soul retrieval and started learning about soul loss. It's been very helpful. I got my soul retrieval, maybe it's been 2-3 months now, and I feel at home. That's the purpose of it, is to retrieve the parts of you that has left. Into how my soul retrieval session went. I had reached out to this one shaman, but I'm going based off of energy, obviously, and how we are connecting, and to know if I want to decide to also to work with you, but also to contribute my finances to you. And so the first person I contacted, he was just like very dry, very short, but I think that's just like part of his personality. And I knew instantly for me, this was not going to work, even though he was a little bit less than the next person that I found. I let my intuition find her. And I didn't even look for her within Ohio. The first person was from Ohio. I just instantly knew this is the one that I want. Okay. When I went to go look at her website, animal communication, she was someone that fitted my criteria, I'll say. Very kind, very sweet, and talking, very informative. Like she had a great breakdown of what she does, and even explaining like soul retrieval and soul loss. Great breakdown of her service. I read a couple of her blogs and they were nice, and I just really love the fact that she connects with animals pretty well, because I love animals and plan to also connect with animals on a deeper level. I'm getting there for sure. When we had spoke, they should ask, why do you feel like you need a soul retrieval? What has been going on? What have you been feeling like? And so I explained to her pretty much what I just told y'all about the not feeling present, the depression, and blah 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 blah. Also sexual trauma, sexual abuse, shit like that. I want to make sure that you find a good fitting practitioner. I can't find my notebook that I usually write notes in. The first soul parts that I got back was from when I was around the age of 5, and she was explaining to me that sometimes even though like the age number is given, it's not always exactly, because they're in a non-ordinary reality, which is obviously not your actual physical reality. Is when a shaman is able to go to the non-ordinary realms. It's the lower, middle, and upper world that they travel to through a deep meditative state. They're like in a trance-like state of drumming or rattling, or you can either like, I believe you can chant your way there. That is journeying. Look into journeying if you feel inclined and called to do. I wrote it down and I found my notebook, because that'll definitely help me to recall. All right, age 5, I got back the gift of resilience. The soul part that was retrieved was from when I had a mistrusting experience with a man, and that was all the detail that I was given for this soul retrieval part, in which it bothered me a little bit, because I'm a person that likes details and wants to know more information. I'm inquisitive and curious. I think part of me knows it's probably something to deal with sexual trauma. And if it is a need for me to actually find out the actual information that happened around that time, then it will come to pass. But I did not go seeking for the extra information. I really wanted to, but I just left it be, because if they feel the need to give the extra details and information, they would have done so to the practitioner so that they could give to you. But that wasn't the case. The second soul part that I got back was when I was around 3rd grade, and I got the gift of inner strength back. So when they're retrieving these soul parts, they're getting back gifts, certain things to make yourself whole again. I got back the gift of inner strength, the strength to deal with things. And she told me that now, getting that back, my attitude would kind of be just like, bring it on. I don't care what it is. And that's exactly how I've been. Whatever I used to have fear of, especially when it comes to like having uncomfortable conversations, I was already being more at peace and being more grounded with having uncomfortable conversations, and like really just approaching it head on. It's even more, it's like an extra boost, and I'm so grateful for it, because I'm not scared of shit, and I'm about to turn 30. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. If I got something to say, I want to say it. If I need to address something, I'm going to address it. If I need to do something, if I need to, go out, be by myself, and take myself on a nice date confidently, I'm going to do it now. The third part of me that I got back, I was around the age of 16, having like a very hard disagreement. It wasn't necessarily a fallout, but it was a breakup. I vividly remember, I said, oh, I know what that is. In my teenage years, I was dating my ex, and it was a person that I had like fell in love with, dating him in high school. And yeah, when we had broke up that time, it really hurt me so much, so like it broke my heart and then me into a depression. Gifts that I got back with this one was actually 3 gifts. It was wisdom, grace, and eternal optimism. She was telling me like, although I had these gifts within me already, I've definitely already had the resilience and definitely already had the optimism and the wisdom. It was just like extra, more abundance of that gift. I was just like, it's like hitting the jackpot, honestly, spiritually and internally. After getting these soul parts back, because you want to be sure that you integrate these pieces, these parts of you that you get back, right? Usually it's your inner child that leaves. Like you can see, it was my inner child and teenage self. Depending on your practitioner, they'll let you know how to integrate these parts back into who you are presently. Or when you learn about journeying, you can journey to these soul parts that you got back. And she was telling me I can integrate them simply by automatic writing. Now, I am a writer. I said, okay, that should be easy. That should be fair. And automatic writing is just like you're basically writing nonstop, not lifting your pen on a certain subject or matter to let, whatever comes out flow. And so I started doing that. Now, I'm not going to hold you. I kind of wanted something else to integrate, but it's perfect for me. Also, what came with my soul retrieval is an extraction. So an extraction is something that they take away that is not serving you, something that is lingering in your field or in your, um, in your energetic field. That the extraction for mine was verbal abuse and poor treatment. There was a lot of poisonous arrows within my fields. And I that's what I love about shamanism and shamanic practitioners is like the fact that you could see these things and actually help people out in the most important way, like the spiritual way, get them to the next level in their life. So at this point, I'm kind of just reading my notes. So like when it came to the poisonous arrows, the arrows got transmuted and turned into red, orange, and yellow tulips floating down the river. Symbolisms for the tulips is like eternal love, deep love, right? It's just something that I really needed for myself growing up, especially with my given experiences with men and just, not choosing myself, even when I got older and started dating and being in these relationships longer than what I should have been. But hey, look where we're at now. Happy, beautiful, not stressed out about no man. And the other extraction was there were dark handprints around my ankles, and that was transmuted into ashes and then turned into tall pine trees floating down the river. Like, I think my favorite thing about being able to go into the non-ordinary reality is that it reminds me of the dream realm. Honestly, like you don't know what's going to happen, but more than often, nothing bad is going to happen. When you're traveling to these non-ordinary realities, it's there to show you something, to help you extract something, to teach you something, give you wisdom and insight on things that you cannot see in your actual physical world. So like if this is sounding weird, I don't know what to tell you. I love it, but this is real life shit. I'll share the symbolism for the pine trees, which is equal to longevity, immortality, and resilience, right? Back in connection to with one of my gifts that I got back. I hope this is the last thing I want to share about the whole soul retrieval experience. So gifted my power animal. Now before the soul retrieval, when I was in training for Reiki, was giving a power animal through that, but sometimes the power animals may stay the same, or sometimes they may switch out depending on the things that we may need out of life. Getting a new power animal was exciting for me and new for me, and I cannot tell you what it is for the safety of our connection. Let's talk about a few highlighted points from this book. Obviously, the pieces that I highlighted that I felt were important to remember. One of them is about change. And so it says, from a shamanic perspective, emotional and or physical illness is a lack in one's harmony in one's life. Oh my gosh, I can't read. To put that in simplest terms, if you don't understand what that is, shamans are able to go to the non-ordinary realities. They're able to see what our spirit needs tending to. Our physical world, when we are lacking something emotionally, or physically, like a void, right? It's something has been taken away and we may feel empty or we may feel confused. That is the beauty of having shamans in life. I'm reading another highlight. It says depression results when energy stops moving. Many of us are creatives. Okay, many of us do put ourselves into depressive states by not moving our bodies, by not creating, by not vocalizing, right? We're being stagnant and it creates that depression because depression is stuck energy. So constantness, constant moving of that energy is very important and beneficial. If you decide to get a soul retrieval, I mean, you'll read this in a book. Honestly, you'll read this in a book, and so maybe I won't read these other two pieces, but I will talk about when I journeyed to my part. So journeying back to my 5-year-old self. When I met her in the journey, she was very wary. She was like very hyper aware of her surroundings and constantly watching her surroundings because of what had happened to her. And now, if you know me by now, you know I need notes. Okay, so when I met my 5-year-old self, like I said, she was very fearful from the shadows of men. And when I was going back to these, parts of me, the intent was, like what advice do I need, or what do I need to do more of now that we're all back together? And hers was to make better choices than men and to increase my discernment and intuition. Now, I have been making better choices than men. Ever since my last couple of experiences from earlier this year. We're in October, and I'm gonna praise them. I'm gonna praise somebody for my growth, okay? Because sometimes, it's really hard. It was really hard to choose myself, like yearning for that love and yearning for partnership and yearning for companionship. Oftentimes, when you are in search of that, you tend to pick many of the wrong people. Many of the people who are not suiting for your needs, and you can get stuck in that certain cycle one too many times. So going on to my 8 year old ish self, she was quiet, she was reserved, but very quick with those comebacks, okay, and responses. Okay, she had a smart little mouth, and I love it because I have a smart mouth as well. People always be like, you got a smart mouth, you got a smart mouth. She had a Wednesday vibe, but she was letting me know she knew she was very different and unique, but she loved her differences. Her message to me was to honor my differences and just be my eccentric self. This year, I have been trying to like insert myself into certain communities and really find my people. And oftentimes I would like shrink myself. I would not be myself because I'm very different than most people in these areas and communities and groups. And it's not that I don't like my differences, I'm just trying to find where I fit in, but it is okay to not fit in. Be the person who is different, and that is what I'm doing. Very proud of myself. And then the last soul part, the last mini me that I met was my teenage self. Now, she was very sensitive, very teary, very lovey dovey, needing affection and romantics, right? And this is like in actual life. This is where I started going through these nasty ass cycles of choosing the wrong men over and over again and just like getting caught up in a hella shit. Dating older guys, taking on emotional and sexual abuse and shit like that. Um, she said the baby just wants flowers and love letters, okay? And I said, okay. Now I have fallen off of buying myself flowers. I love flowers, like most women do. We love us some beautiful flowers. I love nature in general. But yeah, I have fallen off of buying myself flowers. I have like a single rose right now on my altar. Thank you to my child. But I do need to get myself some flowers again and to write myself love letters, because when I journaled, it will mainly be about like the experiences that I was going through, but I do have a specific journal dedicated to like positive thoughts. Only positive thoughts go into that journal. And then I have a prayer journal. But now that I'm thinking, I may have to add a love letter journal. Okay, I wrote myself a love letter like a couple of times, but I can definitely use some more. Why not? I love me. Romanticize yourself. Overall, we all have the common wants and the goal to live more colorful and to be more expressive and to live loud and to be confident and to give what haven't been given to ourselves, which is the love, the understanding, the compassion, um, the attention, you know. And during that journey, we had like a little ceremonial type ritual thing where we had planted seeds and set attention with planting these seeds so that they can bloom as we all grew together. And then we also had a fire. We had the fire first to let go, obviously, and then we had did the seed planting. So it was a beautiful time in that journey, and I'm so happy that I took it. So, you know, if once again, if you decide to get a soul retrieval, I would definitely recommend you look into shamanic journeying so that you can journey back to your parts of self to get more insight on how you guys can live in peace and wholeness with each other since you are back as one. And I think I'm going to end this video soon. I think I touched on what I needed to for the most part. I gave my experience of the soul retrieval, why I decided to get one, what I was like going through. Don't forget to find this book, Soul Retrieval, Mending the Fragmented Self by Sandra Ingerman. I love her. She's so sweet. She's so peaceful. Like there's other shamans, right, that you can learn from. I like Sandra Ingerman. Period point. After I got my soul retrieval, I'll talk about this book for a little bit. It's called Welcome Home: Life After Healing. Following your soul's journey home. Now I got this book because I was still like, you know, it's not instant. The work when it comes to energy work, when it comes to soul retrieval, shamanic work, whatever. Like the work itself is instant, but sometimes the energy of it may take time, right? To really work itself out because after I got my soul retrieval, it maybe took about a month or two before I stopped really having these depressive episodes, honestly. And that's why you should be very intentional when it comes to like integrating these parts back with your present self. And so I had bought this book because of that, and it's been very nice. I'm at a point where I wanted to stop focusing on the things of the past and you know what I really need to heal and like I've done an abundance of eternal work. Now I'm not saying that my healing journey is done, right? Because we still um healing continues on. We still go through things, we still experience certain things that may be sad or with grief or disappointment, you know, etc. So but the main thing is there comes a point in time where you need to start living and integrating the wisdom that you have from healing these parts of you that you know done the work on. And so that's where I'm at. And that's pretty much what this book is about. It's just letting you know to use your energy in a different way. Use your energy creatively now. Like I said, most of us are creatives. It's time to do something with that energy than dwelling on things that had happened already or, you know, putting us back into a loophole or sending us down a rabbit hole of depression and like maybe pity or self-following or guilt or shame, you know. It's time to be happy. It's time to be whole. So I hope that this and I'm not sure nothing that I highlighted in this book because it's a lot. I hope that this video helps somebody. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I do not mind answering. Please be respectful. And yeah, like, you can comment, you can subscribe if you like. I talk about things from experiences of motherhood, spiritual development, and you know creating. I don't know, I'll be a little bit of everything. But yeah, thank you for listening, and I really hope, sometimes I forget, but I hope that's all I got to say. Peace.